Okay, we got a Torqueflite 6 non-lockup. That is going to be a carryout. We get a ton of these from this place, and it rebuilds Jeeps. So I don't know if they need this linkage. It is way bent out of shape. We'll see if we can straighten it out. The grommet here is actually in pretty good shape. We'll see if we can salvage it. And I gotta find me a small parts basket. 3/8 on this one. They're not always 3/8. Usually they are 7/16 or 11 millimeter. This one here is usually 7/16 or 1/2 inch. Looks like it is 3/8 also. Three-quarters on the band nut. Go ahead and pull your adjustment out. Nine 9/16 on the tail housing. Half inch on the pan. Seven 16ths on the valve body. Okay, on your valve body, all right. Come out of there. There we go. If this was a lockup, it would have another little housing down here with the tube. Comes around and goes up into here. And if it's late enough, it would have a solenoid bolted to here with a wire that come up around, goes through a pass-through connector that comes into here. That's on the later ones. The early ones was all mechanical. This has got a pretty stout little spring here. Sometimes there's a spring, Sometimes there's not. You can leave it out. On your input shaft, oh, torque converter's still in it. You can tell it's a non-lockup because it's got splines all the way up. If it was a lockup, this diameter right here down to about right there would have a spot that's all shiny and smooth like that, except for this diameter. Half inch on the pump. Now there's a couple spots in here that you could put a pump puller on it. I usually don't do that. I just get between the sun shell. Let's show this. Just get between the sun shell and the direct drum, or front drum, what they call it, and go ahead and take our strut out. Maneuver our band in such a way that we're going to come past it. Okay. Start pushing our drum out, and then I just keep it even. Out. A lot of times you're going to have to use a chrome socket on here because a couple of these get pretty close to the wall where you're not going to be able to get into there. So if you can't get on there, just use a chrome socket because they're a thinner wall on here and they'll get up in there. We're going to look at our surface here, make sure our ring lands are not all messed up. This surface isn't. Make sure we're not ring cutting here where the sealing rings go. Our surface is okay right here. Go ahead and mark our pump gears. The dots do face up. On the early ones, you can put them in either direction. On the later ones, there is a way that they go in, so make sure that you do not screw it up. Usually on the inner one, instead of having teeth on it like this, it'll be beveled, and you need to make sure that bevel is pointing the right direction. Make sure our surface is okay in here. We got a lot of clearance in here. So it looks like we're down to metal, but there's still way too much clearance in there. They use the thin steel, so I'll probably get thick steels for this one. Depending on what year you have as to what setup you have as far as these washers go. Burnt, but okay. The early ones had this washer that went on the back here. The real early ones had a fiber washer, Make sure our bevel plate's okay. Make sure our ring lands are okay. Band's going to get replaced no matter what. Make sure our washer is okay. Need a pair of snap ring pliers. Now, depending on what year you have, this is what setup you'll have right here. The later ones have a notch in this area. Go ahead and take our snap ring off. Usually this washer right here is getting a groove cut into it by the snap ring. Alright, come out of there. Like we got here. Alright, you can see the groove getting cut into it. Just gets worn out. So we're going to be replacing this washer. Depending on what year it is again. The later ones have notches in here. They have a metal washer first, and then they'll have this washer. You can swap all that stuff out. You just need to make sure everything is matched together. Make sure our pinions are okay. No wobbling back and forth. No very minimal up and down movement. We're rolling okay, doesn't feel like it's grinding. Make sure our teeth are not chipped or pitted. Same thing on these. A lot of times the sun gear will start pitting and there'll be no signs of it on here. So look at your sun gear really well. Make sure our bushings are okay. Okay, and the later ones, there'll be a snap ring back here holding this drum in. You want to make sure that you take that off to get this out. It'll be right in here holding it in, which changes the support. So you're going to have to match all that stuff up. There are different rear bands. This is what they call a split band. They're solid bands, and that all takes different setups as far as your apply pins and all that. So keep all that to, make sure you match all that stuff up. Also, when you get your new band, make sure that your anchor points line up properly, so that this is lined up and this is lined up at the same time. Sometimes you'll find them, this will be over here, the angle will be different, it might be over here. It's not going to work. The Sprag assembly, the early ones, I just leave it in there. It's a spring and roller type. The later one is a plastic cage, or I'm sorry, metal cage on this one. It's the same as the 204R low Sprag. Those you can take out. Okay, this bearing right here is getting very hard to find. So be mindful of that. And this 4x4 rear sill is different. than what comes in the later stuff. So you're going to want to order that separate. It's not going to come in the kit. Make sure your ring lands are okay here. We'll take this apart when we go to rebuild it. On this here, we can get back here. Let's see if we can get a good view of this. Probably not. 1/2 inch on the governor support. On the later models, it's 3/8, and there will be 6 bolts that holds it in. There are also, usually there's an arrow that says pan, so that needs to point towards the pan. If yours does not have pan on that, written on there, you do need to make sure that your governor ports are lined up in the case. Now, there's a pin right here that you need to pull out. Get you a pair of pliers with a hook on it. Pull your pin out. There's a spot for 2 O-rings. Usually there's only one. You pull that out. The other band apply lever, you just leave it in there. To get it out, there's a bolt in the front. Right here, you take that out, pull your pin out, and it'll come out. There are different ratios for apply. Just leave it alone. Unless you're building a race transmission, you don't really need to jack with that. And if you are, Torqueflite 6 is probably not what you want. Probably 1 1/8. Snap ring in here. Just get in behind it, pop it out. These are spring loaded, pretty stout, so be careful it doesn't fly out and hit you in the face. Look down in here and make sure this is not cracked. And depending on what year you have is how this is set up. The real early ones did not have a snap ring here. It just sat down in there and there was another spring in the center. The later ones have a snap ring here. So you're going to need a pair of snap ring pliers. And pull that out. Okay, our case is empty. Only thing I have left is to take the piston out of here. So, it's a pretty straightforward little rebuild here. Just going to need an LS kit, which is a kit with clutches, a band, pump bushing, that 4x4 rear seal, a cloth filter, torque converter, and that's and this washer. That's probably it for this one. So we'll be back for the rebuild.